All right, so let's look at specifying a personal location to save your templates. And this is very helpful, and you'll see it in just a few minutes as we finish these next couple exercises. So this is going to specify a location where as you create your own project templates, they're automatically going to be saved in this location. Therefore, you won't have to worry about where they're being saved. You won't have to worry about trying to find them to use them. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to grab the location where I'd like my templates saved. I just did Control C to grab them. Now I navigate to File, Options, and in the Project Options dialog, I want to navigate to the Save page. And then there's a Save Templates heading here. And then it says Default Personal Templates Location. I can either browse to a location or I can just paste in that location that I copied and click OK. And now I have a location for my templates to be saved. So I'm all set. You'll see how that comes into play in just a minute. Now let's go ahead and create a template. Okay. So before we do that, first I'm going to navigate to File, New, and just point something out to you. Remember before we had all these templates here, and there was really no option to switch between looking at these templates and our own. However, notice now we have a link here for Office. That's the Office for the blank and all the Office projects templates. And now we have this personal link. And that's because we just specified that location in that personal location for our templates, right? Let's go ahead and create a template. We're just going to create one based off the software development plan. I'm going to click once and then click Create. And there's the project. I'm not going to spend any time talking about best practices for templates here. All I want to do is save this. I'm going to click Save As. Let's do that again here. We want to go to Class Projects, Templates, and we're going to call that Software Development Plan. I'm going to put my initials next to it. And the other thing I want to do is instead of the top being Project, I'm going to change it to Project Template. And that's going to give it a different extension. Here's an option where if you were using an existing project, you would want to select all these because what it would do is clear out all these previous values in the project plan to make you give a clean start. And click Save. And now my template's been saved. You can see the name up here, .mpt, Microsoft Project Template. I'm going to navigate File, Close to close out of it. Let's go File, New. Remember, Office and Personal. Now if I click on Personal, there's that template we just created. And that's where your templates will show up too. Just save them in that location you specified. And then every time you go to use a template, you can click on Personal. There are your templates. Very quick and easy. Okay, working with views. Let's look at some views here. I'm going to open that project that I was using before. I'm going to navigate to Browse, and then I'm going to go to my Class Project folder and select Overview and click Open. And remember the view that's going to show by default is going to be that Gantt chart view. Here it is. There's the table. There's the Gantt chart off to the right. And what I want to do initially here is I want to display the timeline view. Navigate to the View ribbon, click on the timeline checkbox, and there it is. So that's going to give me that graphical representation of the overall duration of the project. Okay, so nice view there. If I wanted to zoom in and out of that, just put focus in there. Now notice when I clicked focus in there, right, the format tab changed. Let me click in the cell in the table. Watch what happens to the format ribbon. Okay, so if I go back in there, see it's completely different. Now it's for formatting the Gantt chart. But if I go back into the timeline, it's going to change to give me the options for the thing I have currently selected. Clicking in there, then using my view zoom, I can zoom in and out, right? Make it, and of course the thing is going to change where it is because I'm changing the overall duration of it. But you get the picture, right? So you can make it as long, as short as you need to, depending on what you're doing with it. Because what you can do at this point is you can copy timeline, right? So that's basically the copy grouping for email presentation or full size. And then you paste it into that document and you can use it for a presentation. The other location I can use that adjustment of the time scale is in the Gantt chart. If I put focus in the Gantt chart, now if I take that zoom slider and zoom in and notice it completely went out of focus there. Remember that I click in a cell, right? Acquisition, row 1, task, ribbon, all the way to the right, scroll to task. There's my Gantt chart again. And now I can see more details in my Gantt chart, right? So it's really helpful to be able to do that. The other way you can do that is if you were on the view ribbon here, you have the zoom section or grouping. You can zoom out, zoom in, or you can specify a specific zoom level. Whatever is more convenient to you. Okay, so there's lots of options there. Let's go ahead and pick another view at this point in time. First of all, I'm going to get rid of the timeline. Now notice that we're in the Gantt chart, as denoted by the view label off to the right here. And we have some very common fields here: task name, duration work, start and date. What if we were to want to look at cost information? Do we have to navigate to a completely different view? Well, no, you don't actually have to. If I were to navigate to the view menu, now remember what I said before, a view consists of more than just the view. It consists of a table, filter group, right? What if we were to say, well, I'd like to just use a different table in the Gantt chart view? Well, you can do that. The view drop down will allow me to specify any of these built-in tables. Currently the entry table is selected, but I can select the cost table, and that will bring up a view that focuses merely on cost: total cost, variance, actual, remaining. All right. If that's what's important to you, you can split or change to those different types of views. Okay. I can go back to maybe if I had a baseline saved, I can go to my tracking again. Now there's currently no baseline saved. Let's go ahead and remedy that. Don't worry about the navigation here. We're going to go over that later. But once I save this baseline, it's going to change the information that we're seeing here. Right. So we should see some additional metrics. Let's go back to view. Table. Yeah, okay. So we have actual work now. We have actual cost. We have some other data points here as well. Okay. Then we have some information here. Let's go back to the original entry table there. Okay, great. As we pointed out before, select a particular task in the view ribbon, split view grouping, click details. There brings up that form. Form's going to show more detail about the underlying data of a specific task. Here are the two resources, cost for the two resources. Remember, we just saved the baseline. That's why we now have baseline cost for these two resources here. Switch to a different view like so. Now I'm focusing on work, planned work, baseline work, save the baseline, remaining work. Okay. Lots of options available there. We talked about the resource usage view. Let's go ahead and close that split. Resource usage, all it really does is it groups the information by resource, then all the tasks. Okay. Remember what we did? We're not seeing anything in the time phase view, but let's go ahead and select the first task for Robin Wood and navigate to task, scroll to task, and then it brings all the items here. Now it shows just work now. What if we wanted to, I don't know, maybe see cost? Well, if you right click, remember what we said before? If you wherever you are, if you right click, it's going to bring up most likely another menu to allow you to perform options on whatever it is you're looking at. I did it here, and notice that work is selected. That's, we're looking at work, but here are all the other options, the quick select options that are available to you. I can just select cost right here. Okay. And when I do, now I have, right, work and cost rows. So I can see both data points, 8 hours of work each day. That 8 hours equates to $352 cost to the project. If I want to see just the cost, I can deselect work. Now I'm seeing just the cost, right? Again, what you use is up to you. I'm just switching this view back to what it was previously. And of course we talked about before, task usage view, right? So it's just going to change the information in this case and view information by task. And again, if I wanted to, I could just as easily switch back to look at work here and cost if it were important to me. Okay, so the number of things that we can do here. There are other options here that I can modify. We'll talk about those in a subsequent module. Okay, that's basically looking at some of the information and working with views. All right, lastly here, let's look and use a report to check on a plan status. We have that overview project open from before. With the project open, I'll navigate to the report ribbon, and we'll navigate to. We'll go to. We'll go to the same report as before. Project overview. There's the project overview information. Okay, so we could, if we wanted to share this with a coworker, we could print it off right there, and that would be the printing of the report. Okay. What if we wanted to display other information along with this? Maybe the table at the bottom. We could split view it. Right, so there is the project overview report at the top. There's some form information at the bottom. And so that's giving us a lot of information about the project right there. Okay. So very quickly, that's just going over utilizing a report to communicate on project status.